I'm sure that all of you have heard the phrase, leadership is lonely at the top. Leadership is lonely at the top. I heard John Maxwell once make a comment about that statement, saying that if you are lonely at the top as a leader, it's just because you haven't taken anybody along with you. And he says, more importantly, if you are alone at the top as a leader, it's probably because nobody wants to come along with you. I don't know about you, but I want to be a leader that people want to come along with. And again, we talked about how the essence of leadership is not a characteristic or a trait that people are born into. Leaders are made. So last time during our opening time together, we just looked at this question of what is a leader, and we're going to continue with that today. And we talked about having to understand the importance of leadership. We also talked about having to make a commitment to leadership and what it will cost us as far as time and as far as having options like other people have, especially as church leaders and just as believers. We don't have the options that other people have because we are leading students, and students are already in this area of their life where they're unsure, they're doubting, they're really developing their core beliefs. And so you and I cannot tell them, oh, well, it's really okay that you do that, it's not a big deal, or we can't show from our lives that we are compromising in certain areas, and that it's probably not the best, but maybe it's okay. We don't have the option to do that. We need to be committed to the core values of Christianity, and we need to lead on that level, whether it's in church or outside of church. So this morning we're continuing on just a few more of the bullets here, trying not to overwhelm us as we get into this stuff, because just taking time with the questions, you can really take a lot of time breaking those down in your own life. Number 3, as we're working through the book here on what is a leader, we talk about the idea that we just need to start leading. Some people in their personal lives or at home or at work, they may have goals on the wall, or they have post-it notes on their desk, or they have post-it notes on their computer, and they say, tomorrow I'm going to do this, next week I'm going to do this, I'm going to make these changes in a month, and they've got this track. And the reality is that we need to just begin leading right now. Start leading right now. The great thing about God and about life is that it offers you a chance to start over. It offers you a chance to begin again. It offers you the chance to change where you're at. You don't have to stay where you're at. You and I don't have to stay where we're at in this life. We have the opportunity to begin going somewhere, to begin, pulling those notes off our desk and saying, you know what, I did this, it's done, as opposed to saying, well, I know my time frame for that was next week, and I'm just going to have to bump that back. That's what's great about us as a team doing the 6-hat evaluation, because at the end of the service, we're able to say, you know what, this was awful, this was terrible tonight, but here's what we're going to do next week to change it. Next week, this is not going to happen again. So the idea is that you start changing and you start leading immediately. And there are some comments on that. John Maxwell says that leadership can often be described on 4 levels. 4 levels. 1, leadership that interests people, meaning I know where I'm going. Leadership that interests people. 2, leadership that impresses people. Leadership that impresses people. I have been there. You could be somebody as a leader that says, I've been there, I've done that, and maybe in a way you have the leadership badges, if you will, where you've been there and you've done that. Leadership that influences people, leadership that influences people, I have taken you with me. This is leadership that influences people. Not only do I know where I'm going, not only have I been there, but I've taken you along with me. And then the highest level, if you will, is leadership that impacts people. You've taken others with you. You've taken others with you. So some questions to follow that up is where are you taking people? Where are you taking those if you lead at work? Where are you taking those in your home? If you're the leader in your home, where are you taking yourself? Do you know where you're going? When you're the driver of a car, it's really important to know where you're going. And the same applies to leadership. So where are you going with your dreams? Where are you going with your ideas? The worst thing is to hear a person at the end of their life say, you know what, I had this dream and I gave up on it. Or, I really felt that God wanted me to do this and I just didn't do it. And then time went on and here comes life and I had kids and I had this great window of opportunity to do this, but I just didn't do it and I don't know why. You hear a lot of people say that. I didn't do it and I don't know why. Where are you going in your life? Can you see the end? You often hear great people say that you are to begin with the end in mind. So you should have a clear picture of where you want to go, and it's okay if you don't. But now is the time to change that, to begin understanding where you're going. Have you done the work in the trenches to others around you to be able to say, you know what, I went through this and I can help you go through this as well. There are people maybe at your work or maybe even those in your home or your loved ones maybe that you'll see in the holiday or other students. We have students here that they don't know where they're going and you're able to say, hey man, you know what, I was your age in high school, I didn't have a clue, or I was involved in this, I was drinking, I was hanging out, I was partying, I didn't know where I was going. But, I got through that, man, and I found Christ, and I got an idea of what my life was all about, and I captured hold of the dream that He had for me, and now I can help you do that. And people love to know that right where they are, you have been also. Now, you're not going to relate to everybody. We haven't gone through everybody's problems, and so I may be able to connect with a person differently than you, and you also differently than me. But the importance is really being able to identify those people that, that person looks a lot like me when I was their age, or I know right where you're going and I can help you with it. The other question is, do you lead in a way that you are putting into people, you're placing into them, you're depositing in them, you're giving them the ability to lead others and the confidence. Again, maybe you oversee a team at work, and does your team identify you as a good leader? Now they'd have to know what that means, but even if they didn't know what that means, do they say, you know what, man, this person, they're great to work for because they believe in me, they encourage me, man, they're always pushing me, they're always helping me to strive for the next goal and the next level, and so we have to ask ourselves, are we leading people in a way where we're encouraging them and we're bringing them on? And sometimes with the students it involves tough love. You just tell them something and they may not see you as their friend or their best buddy in that moment. But you know what? It's not really about being their friend. It's about being an encouragement to them. But it's about speaking truth, and it's about coming along them and saying, you know what? I was a lot like you as a teenager, right where you are. I was the same, and I can identify with that. And I know what you're going through, but I want to help you get beyond this point. Because as leaders with the students and at work and at home, we are not to keep people where they're at. Now, people can make choices not to embrace our leadership. The students can make choices that, we pray for them every week. We tell them, hey man, this is not the best, and they're still walking in it, and that's their choice. But for example, I want our youth ministry to make it as hard on students to go to hell as possible. I want it to be hard for students to go to hell in our leadership and in our student ministry. And the reality is that as we lead others, we should be doing it in a way where we're always trying to bring them to the next level. Whether they embrace that or not is up to them. John says here, when I see a leader, he thinks of the leadership, in terms of the word leader. He spells it out like an acronym, and so the L is to lead or to be a leader. The E now is equipper. He says that if you're to break this down, the L is leader and the E is equipper. It is only as we develop others that we permanently succeed. As we develop others. So what is our game plan as an equipper? Well, first we have to develop ourselves. If we don't develop ourselves, then we can't develop others. So what are we doing to develop ourselves? Then we lead ourselves. We develop ourselves, and then we lead ourselves. Then we can lead others. Once we develop ourselves and we lead ourselves, then we can lead others. Then we can develop others is step 4. So we develop ourselves, we lead ourselves, then we lead others, then we develop others, then we lead others to develop others. Okay, so let's go back. This can be a little confusing if we don't slow down a little bit. We develop ourselves first. We lead ourselves. Then we lead others. Then we can develop others. Then we can lead others to develop others. And lastly, which is what we want to see happen in our student ministry, is that we lead others to lead others. And I think he just pulls this from Jesus and his last words to his disciples on earth when he said, "Go and make disciples of all people." That's the game plan of God, is to make disciples, and we want to see our students making disciples of other students. But there is this process that we have to go through in order for that to happen, and it all begins with us developing ourselves and then learning how to lead ourselves. So if we're not learning how to lead ourselves, if we're not developing ourselves, then we are really cheating the students. And if all of us as leaders, every single one of us, if we're not developing ourselves, if we're not learning how to lead ourselves, then we have no business being a part of this team. We just don't. And it's a process, and we're all at different points in the process, and that's fine. But if we take ourselves out of the process, and we're no longer interested in developing who we are, we're no longer interested in learning how to lead ourselves, then we really have no business being a part of this team. But I believe that every single person that's watching this, all of you, that you're committed to developing yourself and to leading yourself. Okay, so what he does next is he breaks down the word equip, and with each letter he has a little bit to share. So the E in equip is to learn how to how to gauge those around you. The people around you, how well do they do? It's an idea of gauging them and evaluating them. That's the word he has down here, to really look at them and to ask, how are they doing? How well can they do? As you learn to equip others around you, you have to evaluate them. That's the E here. You have to look at them and really see the potential, and maybe even use a 1 to 10 scale. And that's okay to do that. And he has that in the book here, 1 being poor and 10 being excellent. So it's okay to evaluate. We can't feel bad as we're looking to equip others around you. Evaluate the people around you. How well can they do? The Q is to qualify them. We have to qualify them. You put them in the job and you see, how well did they do? For example, if we're looking for people to run, students to run certain ministries or to help out, we need to ask ourselves a question: how well did they do? And I think the church has become a body that believes that, I guess because we're supposed to love everybody and all that you can have somebody doing a job and it doesn't matter if they do it well or not, but they have heart and they have passion and they're there early and they stay late, but the way they do the job is terrible. Like if you have a person on your door as people come in, greeters, and they don't like people. Well, Bob has been doing it for 30 years. Praise the Lord. You don't want to take him off the door. I mean, he may leave, he may get upset, but you've got to qualify people. If they're not doing well, you don't let them stay there. Ebenezer, he runs the media for us in the back. And Ebenezer, he runs the media because that's who he is. He loves techie stuff. He knows it. He gets it. Now, there are some things that he doesn't really know as far as hooking everything up, but that can be taught. But, man, he has an ability to do that. And I've qualified him. You know, how's he doing? Is he sleeping back there? Is he talking? Is he goofing off? Generally speaking, he's always paying attention, and he's always geared up to go. Then you have to unite with them. That's the you. Unite with them. How well are we doing together? Okay, so we place these people and students in positions and possibly at work. You give responsibility to people. You're gauging them. How well can they do? You're qualifying them. You put them in there, see how well they're doing. Then we unite with them. And we ask the question, how are we all doing together? So it's a question for us. Maybe you can stop the video after I make this comment and consider. We're waiting until after the video. How well do you think we're doing as a team? How well? 1 would be poor, and excellent is 10. And, the worst thing that we can do as a team, and we don't be too hard on ourselves, and we don't beat ourselves up. We're doing a lot that's good. We have a long way to go, but we've come a long way already. And so we really have to be honest. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well are we doing together? And we can't be afraid of wherever we fall on the scale. I don't think we're a 1. I don't think we're a 2 or 3 or a 4. I think we're at least mid-range, and I'm okay with that. Then we have to give our time to them. We have to make a deposit of our time. Invest in them. We have to be dumping into them. We have to be putting something in them. Is my time with them profitable? So as you lead people at your job, as we lead students, is our time with them profitable? I know sometimes we come on Wednesday nights and it may be the last place we want to be, and we just kind of show up, and it's really easy to go through the routine. It's really easy to just kind of do things the way we've always done them. It's really easy to just get in there and just kind of chill out in the back and, I'll do what I got to do. But you have to realize that you and I get this one shot. Wednesday night is it's our night. And so we have to make that time with the students as profitable as possible. And we have to learn how to lead ourselves so that in these moments where we feel down and we don't have energy, man, you grab a Monster, grab a cup of coffee, do whatever you got to do. You chug it, man. You pop your eyeballs open and you get out there and you go and you dump and you pour into these students, because that's the time we have with them. And a lot of them, I believe they're waiting for us, to be able to connect with them on their level. And so we have to be dumping into them. And so are you doing that with those in your home, in your personal life, with your wife or your husband or your kids? Is your time with them profitable on a scale of 1 to 10? Then lastly, the P in equip, you provide resources. You provide resources. Am I providing resources and experiences to help them? So you can evaluate yourself on all these on a scale of 1 to 10. And so that was equip, equiper, in the acronym of the leader. 1 is to obviously lead or to be a leader. 2 is that we also are a equiper. We equip. And the A in leader is attitude. Attitude, so important. So we're just going to take a moment to stop and to ask some questions. We heard that if we begin to lead, we have to begin with ourselves. So we answer the questions, these questions, to determine if you and I, as a leader, have a heart for others. In what ways do you encourage other people? What ways do you encourage other people? Do you quickly notice the right that they have done or the wrong? I think that with students, it's really easy to identify the wrong, or it's really easy to hear them tell you something they've done, and you're like, dude, can't believe you did that, man. Like, you're an idiot. Man, what were you thinking? And they may need some sort of spiritual SWAT, in the pants. They may need some correcting, but we need to encourage them. And how well are we doing that? Do people know that you really care about them, that you genuinely care about them? And one of my professors, when I was in college, he was the youth professor. He said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So people don't care what we know. Students don't care what we know until they know that we really, truly care about them. And then do you pour into them? Do you try and equip them? Do you pour into them? Do you take time with them? Do you take extra time with them? We go for about an hour and a half or so on a Wednesday night. If somebody came up to you, man, at 8:45, and you really had to go because you had X, Y, and Z to do at home, but a student comes up to you and says, "Man, can I talk to you off the side? I really need some help here." And you're like, "Dude, bro, I gotta go. I gotta do things at the house." They're probably not going to believe that you really care about them, because you're not willing to go above and beyond just the basic. What about your leadership at work and your leadership at home? Do you care about your employees if you have employees that you lead? Do you care about your loved ones at home? And obviously you do. I mean, that's a no-brainer, but sometimes we can say that and then our actions betray that. So if a student were to call you at 10:30 at night and you're tired and your phone goes off and they really need you, not that they stubbed their toe or whatever and they want to tell you about it, or they got a new shirt or whatever, or they got a cool skateboard and they want to tell you about it, but they really need you, will you take a moment to step outside or sit in your car or whatever, just to be there with them? And it's really, really important. I'm going to share some tips just kind of to wrap up this segment here, and then we'll get on to attitude. But these tips are this. Consider this, John says in his book. What motivates people? What motivates people? We're talking about being a leader and how to motivate not only those on our team or on your team at work or in your home or here at the church, but also to motivate students. What motivates people? Significant, a significant donation or a significant a contribution. People want to belong to a group or pursue a cause that will have a lasting impact. So something significant. Are we doing something significant in our youth ministry? Are you doing something significant with your team at work? What about at home with your family? Also, they want to participate in the goal. That motivates people. People support what they create. So we need to allow people to have input and work toward the completion of a goal. So the students, man, as many students, and I'd love to see this over the next year, handing off ministry to students. The more we give it to them, the more they want to see it succeed, and the more they'll be bothered if the quality of the ministry that they lead is not there. When students take a hold of something, they want it to be quality, and who wants to lead something that is just kind of poop? Nobody wants to do that. So if we allow them to participate in goals, that motivates people. And the same for at home with your spouse and your kids, and the same thing at work. And then also this idea of being wholly discontent, or having a positive anger almost, or being upset in a positive way, not being satisfied in a positive way. Dissatisfaction can inspire change or create a critical spirit. It can inspire change or create a critical spirit. Actually, my wife and I were just talking about this last night, because she was offering her opinion about an event that took place at the church, and we were eating dinner, and she sent an email to somebody who asked her thoughts about the event, and she's there eating dinner, and she said, I have to be careful because I can have a critical spirit. And it's okay to evaluate things. It's okay to offer your opinion. But what you don't want to do in your heart is develop a critical spirit. Oh, you know what? This person's doing that, man, that sucks. Or, we can't do anything right here. Or, man, as long as this person leads, we're never going to change. Or, man, if they don't do it my way, I'm going to leave. Or, man, I say we should do this all the time, and they're not doing it. And you can develop a critical spirit And you can quickly go from a person who's trying to offer solutions to a person who always identifies what's bad about the ministry, what's bad about the event, and you don't want to have a critical spirit. However, it's okay to not be content with where you're at and where we're at. That's a positive thing if we use it as a catalyst to change. We don't use it as a catalyst to beat down other people or to beat down things that are happening, but we use it as a catalyst to change. Okay, we've identified this, it's not so good, we're upset about it, and we're going to use that discontentment in a positive way to create change. Next, what acts to demotivate people? What acts to demotivate people? One is criticism, especially public criticism. That hurts. I made a mistake with a leader, and sent an email, and it was a public thing, and I didn't go to that leader first, and it hurt the leader, and it was a bad mistake on my part, and I learned from it, and that will demotivate people, and so we need to be careful of that criticism, especially in the public realm. Discouraging personal growth. We need to encourage one another to grow and to stretch and to get outside of our comfort zone. If you're a leader who stands in the back the whole time and you don't talk to anybody, you don't go to students, you're waiting for a student to come to you, good luck with that, because they're probably intimidated by us. So we have to stretch and grow and get outside of our comfort zone. And also not being sensitive to those around us can demotivate people. We have to make people our priority. We have to listen to them without being preoccupied. I hate when people listen to me. There are people at the church that do this, and I'm not going to say any names because you all are going to leak it, and then I'll have to come and find you. But there are people who, when I'm talking to them, they're looking somewhere else, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, dude, are you even listening to me? Like, I mean, when a student comes to you, man, if you're doing something and you're preoccupied and they want to take time to talk to you, drop what you're doing and look at them. Give them both your eyes and both your ears, and do not be insensitive. Or they're talking about their day and you're like, dude, they're talking about how they struggle with the test, or they had these things going on, and you're like, that was nothing, man. Like, my day was way worse, and then you go into your day and you don't even be sensitive to them. That will quickly demotivate people. So around your job, around your workplace, around your home, and around youth ministry and students especially, really need to be sensitive. So let's avoid criticism on a public scale. Let's avoid being people that discourage personal growth. Let's always encourage personal growth. And let's be people who are sensitive to those around us. So at the end of this particular part, there are some questions that are just asking us, how well are you doing at motivating people? From the list of qualities that motivate people, how well you're doing. And then do you have any traits that right now are a part of you that are demotivating people? And if so, just identify those and work on those. And so in our next portion, which we're going to begin here in just a minute, we're going to talk on the topic of attitude. So look forward to that, and I pray that this has blessed you here as we continue looking at what makes up a leader. Remember, a leader is a person, obviously, that leads, but a leader is also a person that equips. And then we're going to get into here in just a moment the reality that a leader is a person where attitude is so important. So hope this blesses you and challenges you, and look forward to seeing you during our next segment.